Hi everybody, it's Tyler here at the Mall of America signature event. We're here for VEX Override. We're so excited to check in with 66799T. It's Astonishing T coming in out of Taiwan. Astonishing T, what a great looking robot they have here. Had an opportunity to see them play on the field. It's still early on in this event, so we're looking for big things out of this team. Really cool claw design that we'll be jumping into. We'll be hopping more into how they're doing some of their programming with their robot, with their PID. And then also this extender mech that they're using as well too for the toggle. It's a lot of cool things to dive into. Let's learn more about them coming up here on Pits and Parts. Help us achieve our next goal by being one of the 50,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on all future fun content. Darren, let's hop right into this robot here. One of the things we want to highlight is your claw design. So talking about what the current iteration is, and we'll see a little bit of demo of it too.
Okay, so this is our second generation robot. So after designing our intake, we had to find a way so for our claw to collect the element the intake has collected. So for our first generation, our claw was actually in front over here. However, we realized that the intake cannot bring the element up. So for this generation, we decided to design the claw that could go all the way back over here. Yeah. So when the intake collect elements here. Excuse me. And they collect elements. Game element, it go all the way back so for a claw to grab it. Here.
And we've seen with the way that your robot is designed right now, it looks like your center of gravity is really stable. For that, was that an important part of designing this robot?
Yes, because this year because we're going to stack element, we have to go very high. So if our center of gravity is like high, there's a chance during math that we will like topple over. So it's when we like CAD our robot, we have to make sure the center of gravity was very low. And one thing we're really proud of is our CAD. Because on onsite we CAD the whole robot out to make it look good and make it reliable.
And then in terms of like your extension, how far up are you able to extend it, or how many stacks high can you go?
For this extension, we can extend it about 6 stacks high.
Very cool. And in terms of this robot so far, a lot of other cool things we'll be talking about. One of them is this toggle extender that you have here as well too. So let's pass over to Samuel to discuss more on how that works. And then I'd love to hear about, in actual gameplay, have you seen success out of that here so far?
So for our toggle mech, and this we analyzed some games on YouTube, and we figured that the toggle is extremely important. So at the start of the season, we just had a standard passive toggle mech, and it wasn't really enough to compete with the toggle. So we added an additional toggle mech, which extends our toggle like this. And what this allows our toggle mech to do is allows our robot to grab onto the toggle, and like when we pull the toggle, it'll like flip, and this allows our robot to reach toggle from like around 3 to 4 inches further.
And I know it's early here at the signature event so far. Do you think that's a strategy that you'll be continuing with throughout the season?
Yes, because from what we've seen in the practice matches, the toggle is very important because it can like flip the entire game around. So I think we will continue putting this toggle mech on our robot.
Mall of America tends to bring some of the best competitors from all over the world, the competitors so far. Is there anything that maybe surprised you watching this game early on that you weren't expecting?
So one thing I wasn't expecting was like how fast other teams can stack on their pins and cups. So it makes like the toggle battles more important, because if we capture the toggles on the opponent's side, then it brings us a big advantage.
Before we get to our next segment, we'd like to thank the following. For over 100 years, Kettering University has offered a better education, because from day one, that education has been built on hands-on, co-op learning. Kettering's impressive alumni network includes founders, presidents, CEOs, and frontrunners who have a reputation for transforming industries with their resolute leadership. Apply today at kettering.edu/vex. Zach, let's dive more into your programming here. We were talking before that you're utilizing the different PID functions for your robot, so let's hear more about it.
Correct. So for the past 2 years of VEX, we tune our PID by observing the robot's behavior on the field, and by re-downloading each time we adjust for the PID, and we found out that it's very inefficient. So we figured out a way to solve this problem by designing a dashboard inspired by FRC, and this is a PID, so we can change our PID on the graph instead of actually re-downloading a program every single time. For example, if I press this button, the arm will spin up, and then we can see the graph showing how unstable the PID is right now. And we can, by adjusting the PID value here, we can stabilize each PID move.
Are you able to take some of that data from a match as well too, or do you do that primarily in practice for that data?
We use this data for only adjusting our PID.
Okay.
And to do this, in order for our computer to communicate with our robots, we use this ESP32, which we built right here with Wi-Fi capability, so we can connect our computer and with our robot's brain wirelessly. So to design this entire build, we have a process. So we first tested using this USB to RS485, and we connect this with our computer and see if this works. And after finding out it works, we think it's great. However, it's wired, so it's not going to work if we are doing driving PID, for example. So we find out a way which uses USB32 with Wi-Fi, so we can connect our computer and our robots wirelessly. However, the smart port on the robot's brain is using 12 voltage, and this ESP32 is also only using 5 voltage. So we use this green one to convert the voltage from 12 to 5. So the computer is able to communicate with our robot's brain. In order to translate the information, the red one here will be able to transfer the language that computer understands to the language that the robot's brain will understand.
Darren, let's wrap up on this robot and talking about maybe some future plans that you want to look at for this. As we mentioned, we've seen some early gameplay here in a signature event. What are some ideas you have reminiscing around that you're like, hey, these are things we might want to implement for our robot in the future?
So as for our next generation of robot, we have a plan to build our next robot for a double reverse 4-bar lift, because as we see on the map, there are many double reverse 4-bar lifts that could stack very fast and are very stable. So we want to build our next generation.
So that's the route you think you're going to go?
Yes.
So that will be interesting to see. Of course, we can't wait to see how you do here at Mall of America as well too. I'm very excited to watch more of your competition gameplay as we are here early in this event. So good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for telling us more about this iteration machine. We can't wait to see how you do. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. For over 100 years, Kettering University has offered a better education, because from day one, that education has been built on hands-on, co-op learning. Kettering's impressive alumni network includes founders, presidents, CEOs, and frontrunners who have a reputation for transforming industries with their resolute leadership. Apply today at kettering.edu/vex.